It's time for another episode of All Right Bet. All right, that's what I'm talking about. It's time for another episode of All Right Bet. Me and Andy St.Clair handing you out winners. I mean, the week before we handed out a bunch. Last week we handed you out a bunch, guys. And you know how it goes here at the top of the show. We're just going to run down really quickly what we gave you last week that put some money in your pockets. But before we do that, Andy, congratulations. Congratulations out to listener Jeff Poppy had a high score for our fantasy football. You know, the Gordon Butterfield Invitational the very first year. So he's high scorer in week one.
Yeah, you know, it's an elite fraternity league. You know, you're going to want to win this league. And then next year, you know what we should do in that league is like we have to the top. How many? We have 10. So we keep the top 5 and then we eliminate the bottom 5.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
5.
I love it. I love it.
You know, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, you got to win to stay in, baby. You got to win.
My team it took an early loss, but you know what? That's all right. It's a long season.
Took an ugly win for me. I was playing against the team I was playing against. They sat McCaffrey. What are you going to do? You know well, they didn't sit him. They had him in the lineup, and he sat.
Yeah.
Right. So that was a tough one. So congratulations to Jeff Pop and his team, Cramlin Duvet Chain. Clever name, using the old Cramlin Duvet from Detroiters. I love it. It. So congrats to him. Now, hey, let's run down where we put some money in your pocket last week, right?
Yep.
There we go. All right, hey, so we were all over the Nebraska-Colorado game. We gave you the points on that. The Texas-Michigan game, we were on opposite sides of the fence, but I was telling you to take that Michigan game all day long. Went and did that. The Pitt game. Now, listen, guys, I told you to take Pitt on the money line, didn't I? Now, I gave you guys a 3-team dog to play. 3-team dog parlay specific. I told you, take Pitt to beat Cincy. They did it. Georgia Southern to beat Nevada. They did it. And Wazoo to beat Texas Tech. They did it. That one comes in for you guys. You got paid on that. No doubt about it. Andy, the Arkansas game, you were on it. You took Okie State on the money line on that one. And Arkansas shat the bed there. You were all over Syracuse. You had that. Here's 2 big games Andy gave you guys. Put some money in your pocket. Take Bowling Green in the points in Happy Valley against Penn State. Cash that one in. Take Northern Illinois. Cash that one in over Notre Dame. 2 big ones for you guys there.
I should have said money line. Money line.
Oh, buddy, if you'd have said money line, we'd be in another stratosphere. No doubt about it on that one. Iowa State. Andy was also handing you Iowa State to upset Iowa. That one went down. And at the very end of our list there, I gave you, hey, guys, remember, I said, hey, let me give you one more pick, a team I kind of like after the first week, Eastern Michigan plus the 27.5 at Washington, and that one cashed too. So we gave you guys some money. That's it. Cash in on it. In on it. Now, we did have some plays of the weekend, as did everybody, though, that really, really burned you. Really burned you, right?
Yeah. Oh, my God. You're talking like in college?
I'm talking both. I'm talking NFL. We know everybody. We were on the Bengals.
I mean, I do think a couple weeks ago, but, you know, maybe it was a month ago, I had mentioned how the Bengals start slow, right? I'm like, they always start slow. And then what did I do? I walked right into it. I was like, you know what? Yeah. I'm going to walk right into it.
Burned us too on the Survivor, burned us on every one of my parlays I had. I tagged that game like an inexperienced gambler. Guys, don't do that. Just don't do that. You don't spread yourself like that. But you get in that mode, and everybody falls into it from time to time where you feel like, oh, no, man, I'm going to turn this 4-teamer into a 5-teamer, get paid. Bengals cover. Nope.
Yeah. I did it a few times. But I teased them a couple. I was like, I'll throw a couple teases. Bengals were in almost all those teases.
Yep, every one of mine. Every one of mine. And I'll tell you what screwed me on my college this weekend, Auburn. Oh, man, they're calling for my man's job down there after that loss, and they should be.
It's a bad one.
It's a bad one.
Who's that, Hugh Freeze?
Yeah, terrible. I mean, Kale's bad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on. I thought Hugh would have this thing turned around by now, or at least on the right path, and it's taking him a little longer.
Oh, across the board on game day, Herbie and everybody, man. Auburn prime for a run this year. I think this team's going to be really good, really good. Cal probably won't even make a bowl game. Goes in there and beats him. So, hey, that burned us. But, guys, money in your pocket on a lot of those games, including the ones we gave you on the Big Six picks as well. And that's how it goes, man. That's how it goes. But I know what you guys are here for now. Andy, let's get into it. Let's start handing out some candy. Let's start handing out some money. Give me something from the NCAA you like. There's a game tonight. I think we're both on.
We're going to talk about the Thursday and Friday NCAA games first.
Let's do it.
And I like, I'm staring at that Texas State team, who I think is a team that has a legit shot to get into the G5 spot. Their schedules are tough, but if they went out, they have a chance, and this is the step to do it. So I will be backing the Texas State. What is Texas State mascot? I don't even remember.
Bobcats or something like that.
Yeah, maybe that's it. So I like Texas State. We'll call them the Bobcats. I like Texas State, and I like the over. If you're playing the over under, I probably wouldn't do it, but give me Texas State -1.5 and give me the over.
Yep, I'm going to take Texas State on the money line there, guys, and I'm going to give you another 3-team dog this week. Now, last week it came in. I'm going to go with it again this week. Money line, 3-team dog, Andy. Give me Texas State to beat Arizona State. Give me UNLV to beat Kansas. And give me Wazoo, Washington State, to beat Washington in the Apple Cup. That's my 3-team dog.
I like that. Well, just contrarian. Texas State is the favorite right now. That's
okay, yeah. That's a pick.
It's a pick. Yeah, it's basically a pick. You're going to get a pretty good value on that. And you had UNLV.
UNLV over Kansas. Yeah,
that's one of my Friday plays. I like UNLV at +9. That game, I would take the money line just like you're doing on that for sure. The other Friday play for me, I think the good Friday games in college football, I think they'll be fun, is give me Arizona +7, +7.5 at Kansas State. I want to take the over in that game. I just like Arizona. I think the over is a great play as well. So I think that score is going to be Arizona's. If they're going to win, and I think they will. It's going to be like 35-31, 28, 27. It's more than the over is 59 high, but both teams are going to get in the 30s. So I like Arizona, and I like the over.
Yeah, I will.
I love that. I love that play. I'm with you on Washington State too. I like Washington State.
Yep, Arizona and the over is a big play for me. I'm with you. I'm going to stay away from the spread in that game just because, like you said, both teams can score, and I just don't know what to expect out of K-State yet. I think the spread and the money line on that one's a stay away from me, but I love the over. I'm with you on that one. Where you landing? Arkansas State, Michigan. Now, Michigan bounce back game. Arkansas State, not that great. They're not on Michigan's level for sure. Michigan laying 23.
I like the points. Give me Arkansas State. I just don't think Michigan is a team that's a quick scoring team. They were a slow scoring team last year. They did pile up the points quickly on people, and they don't have as good of players. And I think it's just going to be like that all year. I think Michigan is an under type of team, which means generally those opponents on big spreads like this are going to tend to cover. So they're 0-2, and I think it continues. I'll take the Red Wolves.
Yeah, this is a game. This is, guys, just like last year. Michigan won the national championship, went undefeated, but early in the year last year, you were taking the points against them. They were winning games like 28-10. Like, it's just what they do early, and they're not as good. So, especially if you want to tease that thing, you want to move Arkansas State up to 29, 30 points. Maybe that's the way to play that thing. I'd stay away from Michigan covering on that one, guys. Just wouldn't do it. This is an interesting game to me. Okay. Central Michigan, Illinois. Now, Illinois has started the season hot. 2 good wins. They are putting up points. Now, Central opened the season with a big win, but then they got destroyed last week by not very good football team. So I just don't know where this thing's landing, Rand. Illinois taking it for granted. Chip's going to bounce back. They always play tough against the Big Ten. They do. Yeah. But 19.5. I don't know.
Yeah. I love Illinois last week over KU. I'm only staying away from this game because I kind of came into the season with the idea that Illinois is going to be bad. And Bielema, I was like, is on his way out. It was kind of, to be honest, there was like some Big Ten teams I was really out on. One of them I will talk about in a little bit, but Illinois was one of them. So I'm giving myself an Illinois pause. I bet them 2 weeks, last 2 weeks. The first against Eastern, I took Eastern plus like 28 points. Like, there's no way Illinois covers. They did. Last week I took Illinois because I was like, KU's a little overrated, and I like the 5.5 or 4.5. So this week is my stay away from Illinois. You You go against them, with them, stay away. That's just how I'm going to run it with Illinois this year. I want to take the dog because that's where my heart is true. But I don't know. I don't know. Illinois looked great. I was like,
Great.
this team looks good.
They look really good. They look really good, Andy. And I'm telling you what, the leaning point for me here is going to be, I think I'm going to take Illinois laying the points against my Chips. Breaks my heart. But I think I'm going to take them laying the points because of the 12-team playoff system right now. Look, I am not a believer that Illinois can be one of the 4 Big Ten teams to get in, but Bielema's going to have that room believing it. And if him and his coaching staff want any shot at getting into one of those 4 or 5 spots for Big Ten teams, they need to win every one of these games and win them big.
Oh, for sure. I would be shocked if they have 0 to 1 or 2 losses. But look, I didn't bet the under on their team total this year, but I would have, and it was on my list of things to do. So I am not a believer. I'm not a Bert Lever. Is that what Bielema, Bert Lever? But
I think that is what it is.
But you look, I'm clearly off on Illinois, so I actually that's the way I have to take a step and see what they do here for a week or two.
Right.
For me.
And for anybody that's going to try and blast me and come at me on the social media about you said Illinois is going to make the playoffs, jog off, my friend. That's not what I said. I said if the coaching room wants to believe they have a shot, they're looking to run it up in games like this, which has everything to do with the spread. So open your ears. Anyway, Next game, Alabama laying 16 at Wisconsin. I think you can go ahead and give me Alabama laying the 16 at Wisconsin. I don't like Wisconsin this year. They don't look good, and Bama's on a bounce back.
This is I was saying some Big Ten teams I didn't like. Illinois was one. Wisconsin was another one. Northwestern was another one. Like all these under teams. I like Alabama here at 16.5. If you can get that number, if it still exists, I have no idea. I think Wisconsin's going to score like 7 points, maybe 10.
It's not going to look good.
I think Alabama's going to, the thing about that Alabama coach who was at Washington last year is like that dude covers a lot, like his teams cover and his teams can play offense. And so I'd expect even Bama last week was very slow out of the gate. And I was like, oh, Bama, wake up. And then I don't remember the final score, but I swear it was like 89 to 12.
They beat them up.
Oh my gosh, they had so many points. So yeah, I'm with you on Bama. Definitely with you on Bama.
Well, let's hit your T-shirt on the next game here. Mizzou. Now, I don't know what this spread has been moving like crazy. I had it at 16.5. They're laying 16.5 to BC. I'm not sure if that's still the line, but BC ranked now. Couple big wins. Castellanos is really playing well in that dual threat role as a quarterback. But I am going to tell you, as long as they're running the football, I think BC runs into the Baltimore Ravens problem. You get up on them, they're in trouble. They can't stop the clock, and Mizzou's going to get up on them. That's what I think. I'm going to take Mizzou laying the points. I think it's a reality check here for O'Brien.
Yeah, as a lifelong Missouri fan, I will say it's so great that BC beat Florida State and now's ranked because Missouri's schedule is soft. It's very soft.
Yeah, it's helpful.
If Missouri wants to make the playoffs, and let's say you have a ticket for them to make the playoffs, I'm not saying both of us do, but maybe one of us does.
Yeah, sure.
Plus 200, like
we both should.
Yeah, let's say you did. This is a must win, absolutely must win for Mizzou. And I've noticed this year with Drink, because I've of course watched both games, is that he just keeps going. He's putting points on the board, right? So if Missouri gets up, they're going to continue to get up. They're going to cover. If they win, I just don't know. I'd be shocked if they won by like 6, right?
Yeah.
So if you like BC, I think you just straight up take the money line. The last time Missouri played BC was a few years ago. They went to BC and got beat. So that is the thing to be wary about. I just think this team is really good. I think, I know they're the only D1 team that hasn't allowed a point in college football, but they played Cupcake City, so it's hard to count that. Talking about Missouri, I'm always like, their offense is awesome. I think their defense is a problem, and I think it will be a problem when they play good teams. So if BC's good, then it's going to be a problem. But I'm going to stay away, but just because it's a little high for me. But I would take Missouri at the 17. And I'm with you. If Missouri gets up early, if they get up early, there's no catching up.
There's no chance. There's no chance. No chance. Coastal Carolina laying 17.5 to Temple. This is a game I put on my docket because I don't know who Coastal Carolina is yet this year. They're up, they're down. they're playing pretty well. Temple's bad. I mean, probably one of the top 5 worst teams in college football.
Yeah, they're bad. What's the spread on that one?
I got it at 17.5. Now that
Yeah.
may have changed in the last 24 hours, but I'm at 17.5. I'm definitely playing this one teaser. I'm teasing Coastal down, and I think they coast and roll.
Yeah, I mean, I like that. Like a lot of these, big ones, like even CMU, Central Michigan, we're talking about the round. Like, I'd probably play the dog on some of these, if you were forcing me to play. But a team like Coastal and Temple, I again, it's a one I'm probably, because I lost on Coastal in week 1. They smacked someone in week 1.
Yeah.
First game.
Yeah, shoot, that was a game we were both on too, and I can't remember
Jacksonville
what it was
State,
now.
maybe?
Yeah, it was Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State was the favorite. Yep.
Yeah, so I it makes me lean to Coastal. I kind of like the tease idea with that. So I think that's a good idea.
All right. Hey,
All right, I want to correct one thing. You were on Wazoo against the Huskies, right?
Yeah.
I think I as you said that, and I was like, yeah, that sounds good. And then now that I've been thinking about it, I'm like, I do like the coach for Washington a lot. And I also always like betting the team we all just watched beat a team that was supposed to beat them. Like, so we just watched Washington beat Texas Tech, and they looked really good. I'm always wary of the next week a little bit. So that's what my wheels have been turning that way. So maybe I'm just saying tread lightly in that.
All right. Hey, fair enough, man. Fair enough. I like them. I think they got a chip on their shoulder for everybody bailing the conference, and I think they want to go in there and prove something, especially in a rivalry game. But we'll see. We'll see. This is a game I'm 100% on. 100% on.
Okay.
Notre Dame on a bounce back, laying 12.5 to Purdue. Now, I know that that's a game that riles up bad blood. These teams show up to play each other. Nobody really knows that, but these two teams, they get after it. But listen, this is a bounce back game for Notre Dame, big time. Laying the 12.5, I'm on it.
Yeah, the Freeman era of Notre Dame, they tend to lose wild, random games. The coach of Notre Dame, and they lose to teams they shouldn't lose to. Like, they lost to Stanford, who went last year, maybe. Like, the teams are like 3-9. But the other thing about it, though, they tend to do is the next week they do come back, and they do look a lot better, and they kind of right the ship. It's kind of like, it's like in a fight, Notre Dame gets punched first and kind of falls in the knee, and you're like, we did it. We've beaten them. And then they get up a little bit. So, I'm with you. The thing about Notre Dame, though, now to make the playoffs, they have put an enormous amount of pressure on themselves now, by the way. They have to win out, and their last game of the year has all of a sudden become is going to be a very important game. And that is
no doubt
USC.
USC
has I think an opportunity to get into the playoffs. They are better. It's a classic Lincoln Riley year where his team was not going to be very popular, and that's when Lincoln coaches. When his team's really good, I would like to bet against Lincoln. When his team's supposed to win 6 or 7 games, I like to bet for Lincoln.
Sure.
So this is the year. So now Notre Dame's put themselves on the spot. By the way, USC Notre Dame last game of the year could be for the playoffs for both teams. It could be just a straight up playoff game. So I am with you. I think Notre Dame is going to get on it.
Yeah.
I think they're going to.
Well, listen, I'm all over it. I'll be playing that one, and I think I'll be putting it on the same ticket as this one on it. I think I'm going to play a little 2-teamer here to cover. Ole Miss laying 23 to Wake. Listen, these are games that Lane rolls the score up in. Right.
Normally,
I mean, Wake Forest ain't nobody. They're not coming in with any kind of motivation. They're not ranked. This is a Lane game all day. He'll stay right in his lane on this one.
Yeah. I mean, also the Lane train wants to put up a lot of points, and once, the playoffs are about like who looks the most impressive. And, going into when Ole Miss is 10-2 and Missouri's 10-2 and LSU's 10-2, whatever. They're going to look back at these scores and be like, okay, now look what they did here and here. And like,
yeah.
I'll give you one. Here's one I got my eye on a little bit. Tulsa at home against Oklahoma State.
Okay.
Oklahoma State is coming in off a big win where they kind of looked bad against Arkansas, right? Like they figured it out, and they won and they escaped. And you could have maybe even taken Oklahoma State at 7 or 7.5, and they somehow covered. You could also have taken them at 8.5, and they didn't cover because they won by 8 in overtime. But I just think Tulsa 20, 21 in that area it's too many points for a team. Gundy typically doesn't in these kind of games, non-conference games, doesn't typically play well. It's almost like he waits. And I said this a couple weeks ago. When we were doing like conference, right? Like when he plays in the conference, then he tries a lot harder. Then Oklahoma State, as you notice, Oklahoma State, they get rolling in week 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They get moving at that point. The early time to get Oklahoma State is when you're non-conference early in the season. They tend to slow it down and they don't play as hard. So for that reason, I'm going to go with that theory. I'm going to ride Tulsa.
All right. I like that one. We pointed that out several times on the show, guys, and that tracks. Oklahoma State is that team. And now, Andy, I sent you a picture of this, man. Last week, I had a 2-team ticket money line. I had Arkansas to beat Okie State, and I had Boise State to beat Oregon.
Yes,
and I lost both those games at the wire, guys. $5 on that was paying like $185, man. I wanted that one, but anyway, didn't. Alas, here's a game I do like: Vandy laying 10 to Georgia State.
Yeah,
I mean, Vandy's not Vandy this year, man. They look pretty decent,
right? So you're taking the 10. You're taking Vandy.
Yeah, I'm not taking them to lay the 10. I think, man.
I think I'm on the other side.
I mean, this ain't Georgia Southern now. This is Georgia State.
I get it. I just don't. It's hard to trust. Also, the other thing is Vandy's got Missouri next week. So you're telling me Vandy's gonna? If Vandy is new Vandy, and that's our first SEC game, they're gonna lay out. They're gonna lay it all out there, knowing they got to go to Missouri next week. So I'm a little.
You might have a point.
I'm a little skeptical. I'll take Georgia State and I'll take the points. We'll keep it close.
You may have a point there. But I'm going to take them laying the points. Now, this is the last game I'm going to give you for NCAA that I'm going to be in on. I'll probably play some others at game time. I'm watching some lines on games I'm out on. If they shift enough, I'll be in. But Rice at Houston laying 5. Now, listen, Houston opened the season looking terrible. Last week, they gave Oklahoma everything they could handle. And at the beginning of the season, we all thought Houston was going to be a pretty good football team. Now, I don't know. I think they woke up a little bit. And Rice really bad loss in week 1. I think this is a team that's scrapping to try and find themselves, and they're not very good to begin with. I'm not going to get long-winded on it. Give me Houston laying the 5.
I think so. I would also, you could tease that down to the +1. It's so close to a pick 'em at that point. Yeah. Generally, though, game's gross. I'm not as interested in it, but yeah, I'm with you on Houston.
Sure.
I got a few. I'll just rip through them real quick.
Let's do it.
Utah State plus like 19-20, and Utah is at Utah State. First off, it's Utah State. It's probably a rivalry game to Utah State. It is probably not a rivalry game to Utah.
Right.
We're not sure what the health of Cam Rising is, which always makes me nervous. Right? Yeah. We don't know if he's going to play. If he plays, maybe Utah's going to beat the hell of him. But what if he doesn't? Right.
Right.
And if he doesn't, I like the under in that game. I like the under, and I like Utah State. Just keep your eye on that one. Let's see. Also, Toledo goes to Mississippi State. I like the under. I think when these MAC teams play SEC teams, is not as fast. Obviously, I'm not a genius.
Sure.
Just telling you, as you know. UAB Arkansas, I like the over, just because Arkansas can probably dump. Arkansas and Petrino are going to dump points on everybody.
Yeah, they're going to try. So they're definitely going to try.
So if they get to 42, then UAB just got to get to like 18, and maybe UAB can do it. I know last week they got to 11 on ULM. So 6. There you go. So that makes me a little nervous, but I think Arkansas will do its part. I like Hawaii, by the way, plus 4.5. I'm kind of in on Hawaii at plus 4.5. I have a few more, but here's the last one. And this one, I didn't think I was going to do it. Texas A&M is going to go to Florida. Florida's about a 3.5 dog.
Oh, man, you're going to do it?
I'm going to take the dog. Home dog. I'm going to take Florida. Look, A&M, here's what we know about A&M. They lost to a team that lost to Northern Illinois at home, right? And that next week they did well. The A&M quarterback is not very good. Weedman or whatever his name is. Like, he's not good enough. Florida needs the game.
Oh, it's a must win.
It's absolute Billy Napier, like all the stops. Because the last 5 are not, they're, as we went over, they're horrible.
Oh, no.
It's a must win. To me, it's like, you don't want to call it desperate team in week 3, but we are definitely in desperate team situation for Florida. So I'm going to be on Florida there. 3.5.
All right, man. Well, good luck with that. Good
Yep.
luck with that. I do have some NFL games that we're going to
Yeah.
get into now. You know, we covered Bills, Miami over on the Big Six pick, guys. So you listen over there, you'll get our picks on that one. Let's jump right in on my Lions right out of the rip here. Lions laying 6.5 to Tampa Bay. Go ahead and give me the Lions laying the points. Tampa Bay looked good last week, but we played a very good Rams team. And when it came down to the wire, we looked like a team that was dominant. You are not going to bury the Lions.
Yeah, if you get that number for sure, I'd probably take the Lions. I would tease the Lions, right? I'd see it now on mine at 7.5.
It's that 7.5.
7.5. I'm going to take Tampa, just because I think you have to. Like you have to take it's the hook. It's like all, and I think that's where that number is going to end up ultimately. Okay. Because like Vegas is not going to like. I'd be nervous about it. So the real thing I like in that game, but I do like Tampa at 7.5. I do think the Lions win though. Is the under.
Yeah. Like what do they got over or under on that one right now, Andy?
50, 51, something like that.
Okay.
So I think the under. Last year they played, it was under. They played last year. Detroit went in there and won like 20-0 or 20-10, or I don't remember. But I like the under in that one. I think under.
Yeah, rematch of the playoff game.
So like Detroit was fine last week. I wouldn't even say they were great last week, and they still won. So you can't be mad at taking the Lions at 6.5 or even 7. I just think once it gets up to 7.5, Detroit may settle down. Baker may do the back door and like down 14 and get a last shitty touchdown with like a minute left and like onside kick, and it doesn't work. So
possible, very possible. At 6.5, I'm in. If it's 7.5, I'll just buy the half point, play the 7, and I'll push if I push. But I'm going to be in on the Lions. I just think after last week, this is not a letdown squad. They're not going to have a letdown. Bounce back Baltimore. Listen, they got the Raiders coming to town. This thing has probably moved up north of 10 right now, if I'm not mistaken.
It's actually moved down. It's moved down to 8.5.
Oh, I'm all over it. I'm all over it. This is going to be a blowout.
Probably, I'm gonna I'll be on the Raiders because it's dog week. Week 2, typically dog week. Also, the things we know are like the teams that we think are horrible might not be week 2. They get it turned around. Baltimore is going to be good. Like I love a tease here. I like if you are ready, let's just tease the Lions and the Ravens. And two home big favorites. Like I love that 100%. That's kind of where I'm living. But I'm probably not going to play the number. But if I was playing the number, I know what I would do. I would just hold my nose and take the Raiders. But it definitely, if you're like what I'm saying is this is not my official pick in this game. My official pick would be tease.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Tease. Yeah. Tease a good play on that one. Where are you with the Jets laying 4 at the Titans? Now, this game just screams stay away to me. I know it screams to everybody else, jump on the Jets. They're going to bounce back. They're going to, and the Titans are going to look to whatever, man. No.
Yeah, I'm on the Titans at +4. It's like, here's the thing. The Titans should have won that game. They imploded against the Bears, and Will Levis, his pumpkin expire. He turned back into a pumpkin. I just don't like the idea of here's what the Jets are doing, and I think it's hard. They flew from East Coast to West Coast, played a Monday night game. Now a short week. Then they flew back to New York. Now in a short week, right? With an offense that doesn't really know each other, and the defense may not be as good as we think it is traveling back to basically the Midwest in some form, right? And they're, they have like 2 or 3 days to prepare. Generally, I'm not going to ever back a team that's -4. I also don't think this Jets team is. I think this Jets, it's a good time to play the Jets. I don't think they have figured everything out. I think they might get rolling in week 5 or 6 or 7, maybe. But right now is a good time to play them. Give me the Titans at +4.
Yeah.
Give me the money line. Give me both.
I might take the money line on the Titans there too for one big reason. We did see the Jets defensive front get flat out exposed. Well, you are going to run the football. And what are the Titans going to do? Run the football.
Well, that too as well. Like that defense, they were on the field like 40 minutes. I don't know, but one time. So they're going to be tired, man. And then like hey, get on a plane. We're traveling back to New York. Then we're traveling back to Tennessee. And then we got to play again like 6 days later. So, hey, Titans, whether it happens, I just think that's the play.
That's the play. I agree with you. That is the play there. That is the play. I know you're probably going to be on your Carolina Panthers this week, but I will not. I will be taking the new look Chargers, who looked very solid under Jim Harbaugh last week. I'll be taking them laying the 6.
Well, remember, again, week 2, dog week, but also these teams aren't who we think. It's just 1 week. There's no data, right? The Chargers beat a bad Raiders team, and they shouldn't have covered, right? Dobbins breaks off the slowest 60-yard run, and the Raiders can't catch him. And if the coach goes for it, if Pierce goes for it at like 4th and 1 with like 4 minutes to go, but he decides to punt it. I don't know if you saw that. Terrible. So look, I get it. I've been beaten up by the Panthers now like for a year and a half, and the numbers high. I'm telling you, my confidence was very shook against the Saints, but
it should have been.
I'm gonna stand my ground, and I'm gonna say, get on the Panthers. I'm telling you, even if they lose here, and they probably will if they get blown out here, eventually Andy Dalton is coming to the rescue, and he's going to be there in like week 5, and they're going to start making some noise, right? As they're just eating it with Bryce right now. Eventually, the Red Rifle will come and save some of us Carolina backers.
Wow.
So, give me Carolina, and give me the under.
You're going to die on that hill alone, my friend. I am a deserter. I have deserted. I'm out.
I'm going to be there. No doubt. I'm going to. I can't believe it either. I can't believe this is what I keep doing to myself, but I do.
Yeah. How about this Rams laying 1.5 to Arizona? This is a catch spot. Arizona.
We talked about it earlier. That's in our pick'em. We talked about it in our pick'em.
Yep. Oh, definitely, man. I forgot. I'm glad you stopped me there.
Yeah.
I was about to throw out some more nuggets I should have brought up earlier, but I didn't.
Right.
I didn't.
How about Chiefs, Bengals and Chiefs?
Yeah, let's get on that one. I'll expect the ball game. Everybody's jumping on the Chiefs here. The spread is, I don't know, man. This thing was at 6. I'm not sure what it's moved to now, but I don't think it's hitting north of 7 yet.
It's not going to hit 7.
Yeah, right. They're going to try to get money coming in. I just think this is a stay away game for me. I don't see this game being the blowout everybody thinks it's going to be.
I'm with you. I'm on the Bengals. Look, Mahomes, like at home, again, it's a broken record, but like they rarely blow teams out. They rarely blow teams out. In the Mahomes era, he just doesn't do it. For whatever reason. So give me the Bengals. I also don't think the Bengals are that bad. T. Higgins probably not going to play. That hurts. What a great start for the Chiefs, though. The two teams they probably hate the most. I think smack them both. It's a lovely.
Get them both early.
I think the Bengals are going to be. You're going to be a live one, and you sprinkle a little money line, you sprinkle a little all over the Bengals for me.
Yeah, it's going to be a live one for sure. Hey, that's where we're landing this week, guys. Thanks for tuning into the overtime. All right, bet. Andy, now we've been handing out money for a couple of weeks now. I think there's going to be more money handed out this week. I don't understand why you people who are making money here aren't just sharing this information with your friends on where they can subscribe and like the show. It makes no sense to me. It doesn't take the money away from you.
No, you got to do it. I'll even give you one. I'll give you a free one. I'll give you one more just so
here
you
it
have
is. You don't even have to call at 1-800 nothing. You're just going to get it right here.
Denver money line, absolutely, against Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin. We do not bet on Mike Tomlin as a favorite. We do bet on Mike Tomlin as a dog, but we do not bet on Mike Tomlin as a favorite.
That is a standing rule.
+3. Denver money line. Denver going to win that game. It's going to be
all right,
close.
man. There you go. That's your free pick of the week. I'm telling you, I challenge you to play some of these. Let us know what you think. You can catch us on social media anywhere, guys. That's DWMOD. That stands for disagree with me or don't. I'm your host, Mikey Wilson. Andy St.Clair, my sidekick, as always, and we'll see you next time.
Bye. Win that money.
It's time for another episode of All Right Bet.